One of the joys of attending QuiltCon is meeting quilters, designers, and vendors from around the world. And this is where I met my next guest, Stephanie Organes from Mexico City. She is a fabric designer who is about to release her third collection with Andover fabrics. She's also a member of the Mexico Modern Quilt Guild. I sat down with Stephanie to talk about all things quilty south of the border. So grab your sewing and a cup of tea, and here's my interview with Stephanie Organes. Welcome, Stephanie, to the show. Whereabouts in the world are you coming to us from?
Hi, Karen. I'm in Mexico City.
And are you originally from Mexico City?
My hometown is Guadalajara. I'm from Guadalajara, but I have been living here in Mexico City for around 18 years now.
So you are now a fabric designer for Andover. What came first, fabric design or quilting?
Quilting came first. Well, I'm a graphic designer, so design has been like a really big part of my career and my life. But I didn't get into fabric design until I learned to sew and to quilt. So yeah, quilting was first.
And when did you start quilting?
I started quilting after my first daughter was born. I wasn't working anymore because I used to work in advertising and publicity, and I wasn't working back then. And I was in need of a creative outlet. I became a mom, and I mean, it could be a little bit stressful and lonely at the beginning. And I've always been like very creative and crafty, and I always like to be doing things. So that's how I started. Like I wanted to learn something new, and there is this beautiful store near my house. I was always like very curious about it. So yeah, I went there and I learned from the beginning, like to turn even the machine because I didn't know anything back then. So and yeah, that's how I started quilting.
Now, when I think of Mexico, I think of heat. Therefore, quilting is something that I didn't think would be popular in Mexico. Is it a growing craft?
Yeah, I think the industry is not as big as in the US or Canada, but I think it's growing. Like we are, like more and more people are getting into it, I think, and we're trying to promote it. Like me and my guild, we have the Mexico Modern Quilt Guild. Yeah, we're around 20 members, so we're like really trying to promote the modern quilting, because there are a lot of stores that do like more traditional, and there are like shows, but I think it's more on the traditional side. But yeah, and what you said about the heat, it's funny because we're living in 2 days we have our retreat, like our annual retreat, and it's gonna be like 38 degrees or something, and we're gonna be all sewing and quilting. And yeah, we have friends in Monterrey that it's super hot right now. I think they're like 42 degrees Celsius. And yeah, and they're doing quilts and they love it, even with the heat. So
yeah, that sounds lovely, because it's being driven by Mexican women, not expatriates.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you make a quilt a different way? Like, what do you use in the middle so that it's not so hot?
So we use batting, like cotton batting. That's what we use most of the time. I mean, you can use wool. Like I remember one of the quilts that I did for my daughter, Ana Sofia, I did it with wool. And I don't know why, but I wanted it to be like extra thick. So I did 2 layers of wool. I mean, here in Mexico City, I love the city because it's very, like the weather could be like really template. Like it starts to rain, like in the summer it starts to rain. So it gets a little bit chilly. Like you always have to bring a sweater because it could be chilly in the morning, then it's a little bit hot when the sun, and then in the afternoon there's wind. So I think we have like different temperatures during the day. This year has been incredibly hot, like 30, 31, and that's not common for Mexico City. Like we usually we're around 22, 25 and less. So yeah, Mexico City is pretty. I love the weather.
So you were a graphic designer before in advertising. Did you go to university or college for graphic design?
Yes, I went to university in Guadalajara, and then I studied abroad for 1 year in London, and then I came back, I graduated, and when I graduated, then I moved to Mexico City to start working. And yeah, I started in advertising first, and then I did packaging design for an agency.
So how different is it moving from surface design into fabric design?
I was more in graphic design than in surface design. Like I never did like the patterns and all that. Like I've always been like very drawn to it, buying all this stationery, and I've always loved that. But I never worked on that before. Like here in Mexico, I don't know, when I had a textile class in university, but I thought like I got a little bit discouraged because I remember like I did for my project, like I did like a swimsuit line, no? And I was so excited because I got to do all the prints and everything. But I remember my teacher, she was like, yeah, but it's like we import the fabrics and like you don't get to design them. Maybe you design the bathing suit, but not the prints. So I don't know, I got discouraged and I didn't want to do the bathing suit. I wanted to do the pattern. So like it was like normal to transition from graphic design to advertising, to do graphic design, like logos and all these things, and then packaging, like that was the normal when you graduated. So I've never done surface design. So it was until during the pandemic that I was like sewing and sewing like crazy. I found out about spoon flower, and I was like, okay, I can design my own fabric. I'm a graphic designer. I love to draw. I love to paint. So I started like doing my own designs, and yeah, I started getting into this world to see how I can apply and become a designer for fabric, but for quilting, like for the industry. And I just love it because it really hit me that it was like, come on, our designers are doing all these fabrics that I love. So when I started designing my own and printing them on spoon flower and have them shipped to Mexico, I began doing bags and quilts and doing different samples to create my portfolio. I was thrilled just to see like my fabric, like my designs actually in fabric, and yeah, it has been amazing. So yeah, that's really like I've never done surface design before. Like I could, but I haven't had the time. Like I wish because when you design for fabric, I mean your art is still yours. I have the copyright for my art. So that is something that I want to do, but that's another job, like to apply to another industry to license your design. So right now I'm doing just like surface design, but for fabric, but hopefully for another industry a little bit later on, if I have more time.
And now you're working with Andover.
Yes. Uh-huh. Yes, when I started pitching my portfolio and sending my samples, and yeah, I send them my portfolio with the pictures of my bags and my quilts, and yeah, and they love it. And it is my sister, she lives in New York, so I was there and I sent the portfolio, and I didn't hear back. And it's always difficult, no? Because you don't want to bother. So it's like, should I call them? Should I wait? And then after, I don't know, maybe it was a month or something, I don't remember. And I just sent them an email like, hey, did you get my portfolio? And they were like, yeah, we love it. Let's work together. And I was like, oh my God, like I almost fell off my chair. So yeah, I was like, oh my God. I remember my husband, he was laughing because he was like, I could hear you screaming. He was like, what's going on? And I was like, oh, they accepted my work and they want to work with me. So, and they're wonderful, wonderful. Like, I don't know if you know them, but
I know a number of them, and I actually think Andover's just hitting it out of the park right at the moment with their designers. Not only do they have you, they've got Juicy Juice, they've got Libs
yeah.
Elliott, and a couple of other people. And I love their fabrics. I love their Century Solids. They've got a beautiful hand to them, and yeah,
Quality is amazing. And it's a family business, and I think they're amazing. Like it's super friendly. Like it's been for me because I'm not from the US. Yeah, I'm like far away, So I thought it could be difficult to get in but they made me feel like so welcome. I'm so happy to work with them. I feel very grateful.
you have a beautiful color palette that you're working with, and your collection seemed to be just growing out of the one so that they all work together. Was that intentional?
Yes, I want all my collections to like kind of coordinate or blend together. I mean, I don't want them to be exactly the same, because also like I would get like, I think, bored of using exactly the same colors on each collections. I like that excitement of each one being different. I love that they connect, they blend together at the end. Well, you can see I have so many bolts over here, but I'm like trying to build my own rainbow, you know? So I have different, like maybe more blenders, or maybe like florals, but a little bit big one, and different colors. So yeah, I'm excited that I'm building my library slowly.
Now, I understand that you have a number of free patterns on your website. Is that something that fabric designers have to have, or that's just something that you've dived into as well?
Yeah, in Andover, what we do is we always, for every collection, we design a pattern, a quilt pattern, and it's always free to use. So all the patterns that I have are for each collection. So I have 3 patterns right now. I have 3 collections with them. So there are 3 patterns, and the one that I have here in the back, that's the one that I designed in collaboration also with Paper Pieces. This is an English paper piece pattern, and this quilt was made by but one of my best friends in my guild, that she's also my long armor. She's called Veronica Dacal. So she made this quilt, and it's all handmade. Well, it's English paper piecing. So, and it's called Wonder Blooms. So this is one of the patterns that I designed for the first collection. This one is called Wandering. And Wonder Blooms is the name of the quilt, and Wandering was the first collections. And I have them here. Let me show you. These are all the free patterns. This is the first collection. So this is the free pattern. And then for the second one, that is called Enchanted Bloom, the second pattern is called In the Garden. It's this one. And for the third collection that is coming out in August, in the summer, it's called Color Me Pretty. And the pattern is called Color Bliss.
Lovely.
So,
Now, the name of your website is Pretty Please, and that's your handle on Instagram too. Where did that name come from?
because when I learned to sew, I started doing a lot of pouches. Like that's something that I really enjoy doing, like pouches and bags. And I started doing everything for my kids to organize their things, you know, for the diaper bags and personalized bags. So I started my brand that it was called Pretty Please, selling kids items. That's how I started. But when I was looking for the name, I was like, okay, I want something pretty. And so I started like playing with the words. I was like, something pretty please. And then I was like, oh, Pretty Please. I love that. So yeah, it doesn't have anything more special, but I just love it. And I was like, okay, Pretty Please. I'm very, like, I love everything pink and pretty. And so I think it was very, very me in a sense that I wanted to do things pretty, like to make people to feel joy about them. And yeah, I don't know. I wanted something to be like very happy and cheerful and pink. I'm very pink.
It's interesting the shades of pink that you've chosen, because personally, I don't care for like Barbie pink and bubblegum pink, but you're more towards berries, like raspberry and grape and things like that. And I find it so much more sophisticated and more adult.
Yeah, exactly. I think so. Well, I hope so.
So you have a family, you have a fabric design, and you're making quilts all the time. How often do you have to say no to things?
I'm starting to learn to say no to things, because at the beginning, it's been an amazing year, and it's been super fun. I have been learning so much, but I think like at the beginning of this year, I felt a little bit maybe burnout, because I was trying to say yes to everything, but I start to feel that I was not keeping up with everything, you know, like I don't like that because it starts to impact in everything else. Like also with my kids, I don't want to rush them. It's like, okay, go to bed, because I need to get back on the studio sewing, you know? And it's like, that's not fun for them, for me. So I'm starting to say yes to the things that really spark that joy, and not And it's not that the others don't spark joy, but I don't want to feel pressure about saying yes. And if I say yes, I really want to commit to it. So I want to give my 100%. So I'm trying to not do so many things. And I got to travel a lot last year, and yeah, I want this year to have more time also, because when you get one collection in, you already have to start thinking on the next one. Like, for example, when I get the fabric, like the actual bowls, I was like, "Oh, I'm so excited. I want to start playing with it and do more things." And it's like, no, you have to be thinking on the next one. I was like, but I just got this one, and this is already old news, and on timing. So yeah, I want more time to play, to keep myself creative, and yeah, so I'm trying to balance a little bit.
Some people may not realize this, but right now you have a fabric line in stores. There's another one that's going to be coming. Did you say August?
August, yeah.
August. But then you're also working on the one that's going to be coming after that.
Yeah, the third one, Color Me Pretty, is coming out in August, and I have another one that I cannot say yet. It's already finished, and I'm working on the quilt, and yeah. So
And then you must have another one in your head.
Exactly. So it's yeah, like my creative director, she's like, Stephanie, remember you have to be drawing all the time, and sometimes that could be really difficult, because I mean, I love to draw, and I try to do that all the time, and to really schedule it, because otherwise, if I don't schedule it, it doesn't happen. So I try to do that at least once a week. But yeah, they're asking me to always send art. But yeah, I'm working now in the fourth collection, and I'm super. And I was like, I cannot think in a new one. It's like my brain is burned in this one. So yeah, you have to move on and move on and move on. And yeah, but yeah, here I have Enchanted Bloom, and I still have some quilts that are in the making that I are halfway there. And I have a lot of friends here in Mexico that are the best from my guild, that they help me to sew a lot of things. But there are others that I really want to make them myself. So they'll keep piling up, and they're waiting for me. So
you have a creative director that supports you. You sound like you've got a number of good friends within your modern guild. Is
yes.
there another pattern designer that you've been able to go to when you've had questions or just experience things?
I have a bunch of friends that are all quilt pattern designers. I'm in a mastermind. Maybe you know Jenny from Clover and Violet.
Clover and Violet, no.
Well, she does a lot of handbags and mostly bags, and she's amazing. So she made a group, and we are like a mastermind, and they're all quilt pattern designers, and most of them are like my really close friends that I met like through quilting and everything. And so I have found like a lot of support in them also, because some questions, and because I feel pretty new in the industry. Like like also designing quilts. Like I learned by myself. Like I took the classes in this store that I tell you, and then the pandemic hit. So I learned through, YouTube, in the internet, trial and error, books, and then I'm going to QuiltCon and taking like classes like that. But I have been like putting like all the pieces together. So yeah, I have this group that really helps when I have this kind of questions, and yeah, they have taught me so much about the industry, and because they have some of them are quilt shop owners. They also design quilts. They have been designing quilts and selling their patterns like through distributors and everything. So I love the group. It's been amazing, and we met finally in person when we were at QuiltCon. So it seems like you know them forever, and it's been really fun. So,
nice.
Yeah, I'm grateful that I have my friends here in Mexico, and my friends from my group, and yeah, I met so many lovely people, and now that I can call friends throughout during my journey in quilting.
So I've met you at QuiltCon twice.
I remember. Yes.
For you, is QuiltCon a business opportunity, or is it just a personal trip?
Oh, it's just a personal. Well, this is actually my first year. Well, not business, but I had a new line of thread with Wonderfield. So they invited me to make, if I wanted to give some make and takes, like some classes in their booth. So I was there. I taught 4 workshops, well, small workshops, and we were promoting my thread line. But this was actually the first time that I did something like that, because every year that I go, I just take a lot of workshops and hang out with friends. So I just love it. Like for me, it's my go-to trip. We actually just booked the hotel for next year. That's my trip that I can't miss, you know? Like now also I go to Quill Market, but QuiltCon is like the date is like untouchable. You know, it's like I'm not available. And also it was funny because this year I went from Wednesday till Monday, but it was so busy. Like I had so many, you know, I wanted to see all my friends. So we have dinners, breakfast, lunch. And I regret so bad that I didn't arrive on Wednesday, on Tuesday. And I was telling my husband yesterday, I remember that I told you that we should, like, I needed one more night. I mean, it's like an expensive trip because you have to pay for your flight, you have to pay your meals. Also, QuiltCon, like all the workshops, the hotel. But my husband was like, yeah, it's true. Okay, no, you should book totally from Tuesdays so you make most of it. So I was so excited that I get to go now on Tuesday. So I'm gonna be from Tuesday till Monday. So I have more time.
So
Yeah.
I go from Monday to Monday now.
Wow.
Well, you get
tell my
a
husband
deal
that.
on your hotel when you do it for a week, right? Like it's
Yeah.
cheaper to do it for 7 days than it is for doing it for 6 days.
Yeah.
So I take the first day as an R&R. I walk around, I may get a massage or a pedicure or something like that. I may do some shopping. And
I do
then
shopping too.
Tuesday, I may volunteer. And on Wednesday, I start to try and see just walk around and just make contacts. And then the rest of it, like, as you say, it just blows by. Like you have, what happened?
I know.
Like I was supposed to do this, this, and this, and I didn't do any of it.
I know. This year it felt even like busier than last year. I don't know. It was, I don't know. It was
It was a
amazing.
good year.
It was a good year, and you can feel like the energy of the people, and I don't know, I just love it. I've never been to the award ceremony that they do on Wednesday because I always land on Wednesday. So I try to go to dinner or something, or I go straight to the hotel and then I catch dinner. But hopefully I get to go this year. I want to see the awards and everything.
Are there any other crafters in your family?
My mom, I think she's very creative and very crafty. Not as much as she was before, but I think I got it from her. She used to paint, like she loved to paint, and she did like all kind of crafts. She also made my first quilt that she has. I need to ask her to send it to me. She did like all the trends that were on her moment, you know, like, and she did a lot of painting. She's not painting anymore, but yeah, she used to paint a lot and do also stained glass, landscaping, how you call it, like garden landscaping. She designed, so yeah, I think that I got it from her.
Have you passed it on to your children?
I'm trying to. My older one, well, both of them. Ana Sofia, she's 7. She loves to paint. She loves to do lettering as well, and she loves to draw, and she's very crafty as well. And she, I have taken her to Quiltarte. That's the store of my friend now. We're now very good friends, and I've taken her there to sewing classes. And I just got her the Janome, a small pink Janome, and she wants to learn to sew a little bit more. Yeah, I'm trying to teach her. And Carlitos, he just turned 5, and he loves to draw. I mean, he's very active. He loves, soccer and running. Like he's in, I don't know, atletismo. How you say that in English? Yeah, like running practice.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's very, very active. But he loves to draw. So I don't know if it will stick for a while, but right now he enjoys it. But I think Ana Sofia is gonna be more crafty. My mother-in-law, she's also super crafty. She does like scrapbooking. We went once a year to, I don't remember, I think it was in LA to a scrapbooking convention. And yeah, also she's very, very crafty. Yeah.
A lot of quilters that came from scrapbooking.
From scrapbooking. Yeah, I have so many that now Ana Sofia is using. You know, it's like fabric. You keep all your papers, and I have them, like I have been taking, like not using them, just see them, you know, because I love the patterns. But now, yes, Ana Sofia just come back to my, and she's taking all my blocks. And I was like, okay, use them. I won't use them anymore. So, but yeah, it's like fabric. I collect them, like all the blocks with beautiful paper. And now Ana Sofia is using them. So
Are quilting fabrics expensive in Mexico?
yes, yes, they're more expensive. Because they have to pay a lot of duties, and yeah, to import them, it's expensive.
In Canada, it's expensive too, but it's not as expensive as it is in Europe.
Yeah, in Europe it's more expensive. Like I remember a yard of, I don't remember the brand, maybe Gutermann or something. It was in Holland, in Amsterdam. And I remember it was like 18 or 20 euros. I'm like, oh my God, that's so much compared to the US. And that was, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago or something. So I don't know how much is it now, but it's very expensive.
Well, something that I like in the US stores is just the selection.
I
Like
know.
their stores can be bigger. They're not always bigger, but they can be bigger. And they just, each store here has, a few brands that they deal with, or a particular niche that they deal with.
Yes. And I love that how big they are. I've been to different stores in the US. I have a friend of mine, Jenny, she's in Houston. Her store is Threaded Lines. I was there and I was like, Jenny, this store is so beautiful. She has rooms and rooms and all the quilts. And I mean, here in Mexico, Mexico City is super crowded. So the stores are smaller. So I was so impressed to see their stores. I was like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. It's huge.
Speaking of US stores, you did a collaboration with the biggest of them all, Missouri Star. How did you get to do that?
Well, it was funny. I met Misty through Instagram. Like we haven't met in person, and she liked my first collection, Wondering. That was my first one, and I posted one of my bags. No, it wasn't even my bag with Wondering collection. It was one of my bags with my fabrics that I designed on Spoonflower. So she loved it, and she was super kind. She posted that I would like one of the designers to look on for next year. When the Wondering the collection it arrived and in stores, she invited me to go to Missouri to film with her the tutorial to make this quilt over here,
Right.
the Wondering quilt. We did they got the collection at Missouri, so she asked me if we could do the tutorial. She adapted the quilt for pre-cuts, and yeah, and I went there it was last summer, so we did this tutorial together. And then she asked me like if I wanted to do something else, like what could we do together, and we thought about a Day of the Dead, that it's like a big holiday for us. And I was like, yes, please, let's do Day of the Dead. Because also with Andover, we were thinking about doing like a collection with Day of the Dead. And at the end, we waited. So I was thrilled to be able to do something about Day of the Dead related. So yeah, we did the Wandering the Quilt, Day of the Dead, but yeah, those were the tutorials that I did with them, and they are the best. Like they are
good people, aren't they?
Yeah, they're exactly. When I was there, I got to meet Jenny. I was asking her like all the questions. I was like, please give me like all your insights and your tips, and I love her. She's so authentic, and like her spirit. Just to be with her, you see her like, I don't know, they're so good. And Misty as well, and made me feel so welcome when I was there. So yeah,
And what did you think of Hamilton, Missouri? Isn't that a wonderful?
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's amazing. Like that time I went to the different shops and we shop around, and then I went back in September with Andover. Well, it was birthday bash. It was a 15-year anniversary of Missouri. So I went with the company, and it was amazing. Like I had more time there to shop, and like it was like a big celebration. There were so many, there were lectures, and there were like the games, and lots of giveaways, and I did like some demos there. It was so much fun. Like I couldn't stay the whole thing because it was my daughter's birthday. So I went there just for 2 days and then I have to fly back. But it was so much fun. And the town, it lights up, and the people, and every store you go, like they're so nice. And the museum also, we went to the museum. Like I love it. I hope I can go back soon.
Can you give us a sneak peek of what's coming up in your next collection?
Yes, well, the collection is called Color Me Pretty. That's a collection that is coming out in the summer. That is all the blenders, and it's a beautiful, let me show you. Well, I have here some of the fabrics. It's like a beautiful rainbow of florals. These are just a few, but there are 20 different prints in different colors. And right now I'm working, this is a sneak peek because it's not finished, but this is a quilt that I'll be releasing for the collection. It's quilt as you go and applique. So yeah.
That is beautiful.
Yes. I'm excited.
And that's quilt as you go.
Quilt as you go. So yeah. So it's almost, I love it because when you finish, it's finished already. I just had to add the backing, and I just received, now in Andover, we have the 108s that are the white backs. So I just got them. Like the prints are bigger. So yeah, I'm gonna use, I'm not sure which one yet, but I have one of the white backs to the back. And yeah, I love the quilt on the go because it's finished.
So how long did it take to make your English paper piecing quilt?
This one was made by Vero, my friend. This quilt is hers. She's very fast. I haven't finished mine. Like it takes a lot of time. Like I really love about English paper piecing is that you can take it anywhere. When you travel, you have your stars. These are, I don't remember, they're 12 stars. And then you just apply them to the background. But I think she finished it pretty fast, like maybe 4 months. I don't know. She's super quick. So
I really like the place on the color palette that you have your fabrics. They're not bright, they're just slightly desaturated. So they blend together, but they have still a lot of contrast.
Yes.
It's a really nice collection.
I wanted it to be like scrappy and yeah, have contrast like in each of the greens of the stars. And I like them to be a little bit not totally centered. So that was part of how I designed the quilt.
So if people want to get a hold of some of your free patterns or your fabric or just reach out to you, how do they get a hold of you?
They can find me. My website is stephanieorganes.com, and also I'm in social media at prettyplease.mx. You can find me. You can find me there.
Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. It's been lovely getting to know you.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you for having me. And I'm so glad finally we got to see each other after running a QuiltCon the first time. And the second time we were like, where are you? I'm resting in my room. It was crazy. So I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me, Karen.
I hope you enjoyed my interview with Stephanie Organes. I just love the colors that she uses in her designs. I can see myself incorporating them in future projects. If you are interested in one of her free patterns, I'll leave a link to her website, Pretty Please, in the video notes below. There you'll also see what her fabrics look like. I'll also have links to her Facebook page, her Instagram, and her email. Next time you're in your sewing room, have Karen's Quilt Circle playing in the background. I have interviewed so many amazing, interesting people on this show. Let one inspire you. And don't forget to check out last week's video. Take care, and I'll see you next time.